right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Dangerous delivery. Tonight, a DoorDash driver is behind bars, accused of sexually assaulting a customer in her home. The steps you can take to protect yourself.
Clouds, some light showers around. We clear up overnight. I'll detail the warm forecast numbers for the weekend.
Our top story, the president in prime time.
We're facing an inflection point in history.
His urgent call for American aid to help two war zones in Israel and Ukraine.
It's a smart investment that's going to pay dividends for American security for generations.
Good evening, I'm Mike Bush, and Allred has the night off. Tonight, in an address from the Oval Office, President Biden made his pitch to send $100 billion American tax dollars to two allies now fighting wars on the other side of the world. As NBC's Chris Pallone reports, the White House will put in a formal request to Congress just hours from now.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
In a rare nationally televised address from the Oval Office, President Biden made the case that it's in Americans' best interest to continue supporting Israel and Ukraine in their respective wars.
History has taught us that when terrorists don't pay a price for their terror, when dictators don't pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos and death and more destruction.
The White House is expected to ask Congress for about $100 billion in aid, $60 billion to Ukraine, $40 billion for Israel, Taiwan, and to help with the migrant crisis at the southern border. The president spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky shortly before the speech to emphasize the U.S.'s commitment to helping Kyiv fend off the Russian invasion.
If we walk away and let Putin erase Ukraine's independence, would-be aggressors around the world would be emboldened to try the same. The risk of conflict and chaos could spread in other parts of the world.
The White House funding request will be sent to Congress tomorrow. The Democratic-controlled Senate is expected to act quickly to pass the supplemental, a move which could put pressure on House Republicans to sort out their leadership issues and end the legislative logjam in that chamber. But even some of the president's allies fear Americans are growing weary of sending tax dollars overseas.
I know sometimes we all got short attention spans, but this is a very real conflict as well about good versus evil in Ukraine, and we need to stand with our European allies and with Ukrainians.
The U.S. has sent more than $40 billion in security aid to Ukraine since Russia invaded in 2022. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
And in his speech, the president urged citizens to reject hate, to see each other as fellow Americans, not Jews or Muslims. After his address, he spoke to the family of a 6-year-old American-Palestinian boy in Illinois who was stabbed 26 times allegedly by his landlord. His murder is being investigated as a hate crime. Mr. Biden gave his condolences to the family and said he prayed for the recovery of the boy's mother, who was gravely injured in the attack. Tonight, some of our lawmakers in Washington are responding to the president's speech. In a statement, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for reminding America that we have a singular role in the world, fighting against terrorists like Hamas and tyrants like the infamous war criminal Vladimir Putin." Congresswoman Mary Miller from Illinois' 13th District released a statement saying, "Joe Biden wants to defend every border except our own." It goes on to say his plan is to fund both sides of the war in Israel. Some clouds in the sky over St. Louis tonight. There's even a few raindrops out there, but things are clearing up for Friday, and meteorologist Jim Castillo is in for Scott. He joins us now with the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, Mike, still dealing with clouds out there, a little bit of a breeze. You know, the temperature actually jumped up 1 degree since last hour, so we're at 61. Here's the St. Louis Science Center, the planetarium there, a beautiful shot. And of course, that temperature, there it is, 61 at Lambert. West-southwest wind at 8, and that humidity is still up. And we've noticed a few showers, especially on the Illinois side. Cahokia Heights is at 60, Florissant still at about 60. These are really comfortable numbers because it could get colder, and we will get colder eventually at the end of the 10-day forecast. But a lot of warmth coming our way. We have to get through this cloud cover and a few showers, especially on the Illinois side. Litchfield right now, Greenville, Illinois, Vandalia, Ramsey, and all headed towards Salem, and also Flora. And so eventually, though, we're clearing up overnight, upper 40s and low 50s. And a preview to the 10-day, look at these numbers. 70 tomorrow, 74 Saturday, lots of sunshine. I'll have the rest of the 10-day coming up.
Tonight, a DoorDash driver is charged, accused of trying to force his way into a customer's home and trying to rape her. New tonight, our Robert Townsend talked with a local safety expert who's reminding people to always be vigilant.
Trevay Gaines is the DoorDash delivery driver now charged with burglary, attempted rape, sexual misconduct, and resisting arrest. According to a probable cause statement on Tuesday, a woman told police Gaines forced his way into her North St. Louis County home after she ordered food. Court papers further reveal once inside, Gaines allegedly removed the woman's towel and groped her. Police say when the victim ran to neighbors for help, Gaines made a FaceTime call to her while he performed a sexual act.
It's just disturbing. I know it's traumatizing.
Stunning allegations to shoppers and neighbors who have a variety of opinions about ordering food from delivery services.
It's showing people where you stay. It's dangerous to me.
I don't understand it. I'm from old school. I don't do that.
Police say they tracked down Gaines through communication with DoorDash. They say he maneuvered handcuffs from his back to his front and tried to take off in his car. Police eventually arrested Gaines. Meanwhile, a veteran safety expert is reminding customers when you order from any delivery service, be extra careful.
Let them drop the food off and let them go on their way. This way you have no contact with them, because most DoorDash people will just leave the food there on the front porch.
Meantime, in a statement, a DoorDash spokesperson says they are horrified by this appalling and disturbing incident. The company says this is something no one should ever have to endure, and it will support the survivor however way it can. Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And tonight, the suspect, Trevay Gaines, remains in jail on a $250,000 cash-only bond.
He kept shooting me, man. Shot me 4 more times while I was on the ground. No unarmed black man. Shot me 4 more times.
Tonight, the brother of the man accused of shooting that youth football coach during practice is telling a much different story. Darrell Clemens appeared in a St. Louis courtroom today. Police say Clemens shot coach Shaquille Lattimore 4 times at Sherman Park last week because he was upset his son wasn't a starter on the team. Clemens' brother says the coach also had a gun and his brother fired in self-defense.
Shaquille handed his gun to a friend of his and told him to hold the gun. So him and my brother had a fist altercation, and when he felt my brother got the best of him, he asked his friend for the gun back. In the midst of him getting the gun in his hand, my brother shot in self-defense.
In court, the judge noted Clemens has no prior convictions, but did not let him out on bond. His next court hearing is scheduled for November 22nd. A St. Louis man has been convicted of second-degree murder for killing a man on Interstate 70. A judge handed down the guilty verdict on Brian Williams today. The shooting happened on I-70 near West Florissant in North City back in May 2020. Investigators say Williams confessed to shooting Leonard Ward 3 times in the head as they were riding in the car. The driver was not hurt. Williams will be sentenced in December. He faces up to 30 years in prison. Tonight, calls for action from people who live along the Coldwater Creek. Just hours ago, they voiced their frustrations after learning the cost to clean up radioactive contamination has doubled and that it will take more time than originally thought to clean it up. Our Brent Solomon takes us to North St. Louis County.
Tonight, personal stories of growing up along the Coldwater Creek. People bringing their questions and their hopes for a resolution.
We spent every single day in that creek in the summertime. Every single day. We swam in it, we rode bikes in it.
15 people on my street alone had already passed away from cancers in 2012 when I learned about this issue.
High school senior graduated on June 3rd. On June 8th, she landed in the ICU. A couple of days later, they diagnosed her with angiosarcoma, stage 3, cancer of the heart.
Story after story Thursday night at the Trinity Church in Florissant. They're speaking out a day after a new report from the nonpartisan Government Accountability Office, estimating the cost to clean up radioactive contamination along the Coldwater Creek will now cost more than $400 million. The 83-page report also says it will take another 15 years to finish cleaning it up.
I'm a single mom. My husband passed away 10 years ago with colon cancer. Can't work, right? How do we live?
Senator Josh Hawley's proposal to get money for victims cleared the Senate. A vote in the House could happen soon. A staffer with Representative Cori Bush's office saying the Army Corps of Engineers needs to do more.
There's money on the table not being used to hire more staffers, to hire more contractors, to get this waste out quicker, because we want it out of our community now. It's been here for a long time, too long.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
The Army Corps of Engineers says it is taking a look at the Government Accountability Office report and its recommendations. Officials blame inflation for the skyrocketing cleanup cost estimates. Tonight, several renters and owners at the Brentwood Forest condo complex are without a home. They had to move out with just a 3-hour notice after inspectors determined their building was unsafe. Some say they are couch surfing, others are spending the night in hotels.
They were basically thrown out and put on the streets. There was one kid living in his car Tuesday night, at least, that I know of.
And the condo association didn't call me at all. I heard from my tenants that they were getting put out and they had like an hour notice.
A new management group called Community Property Management took over recently. In a letter given to tenants on Tuesday, it says plumbing problems caused foundation issues, which led the city to agree to an immediate evacuation. The property management tells us there's no timeline on when tenants can return. Tonight, 43 starving dogs are receiving emergency care at the Humane Society of St. Louis. And a warning, some of this video may be disturbing. The Animal Cruelty Task Force says the dogs were found starving at a property south of Springfield, Missouri. 9 dogs were found dead. All of them are Shiba Inus. The Humane Society hopes to get custody of the animals next month and will make them available for adoption once they recover. We're learning more tonight about what led to the sudden death of an Asian elephant at the St. Louis Zoo. Zookeepers say a preliminary necropsy report shows Ronnie may have had an underlying heart condition. The 27-year-old elephant collapsed last week inside the elephant barn. The zoo says Ronnie became upset after the other elephants outside were agitated by a loose dog.
It was not anybody's fault. There was a loose dog, but it just wasn't anybody's fault. If there's something that's not normal in their environment that startles them, that can trigger that. And if you have some underlying cardiovascular disease, sometimes the consequences of that can be quite devastating.
Ronnie came to the zoo in 2001 and birthed 3 calves with Raja.